In 2022, Matt Walsh made a lot of money with a film called What is a Woman? And it was controversial. He was asking this very complicated questions. For centuries, we had dictionaries, we had common sense, we had biology textbooks, but they all got burned on the bonfire of the vanities over the last couple of decades. We reached a state where it's incredibly difficult to define a woman. It took Keir Starmer nearly 2 years, and he's a pretty smart guy. And every week there's stories. The nurses who were suspended because they weren't willing to take their clothes off in front of a male colleague that said they were female, in terms of the retired doctor who was refused giving blood because he wouldn't answer whether he was pregnant or not. We've changed midwife courses so that midwives are taught about men having children. Do they not teach biology? Do we have an explanation of how the baby comes out or where it grows? We're so worried we'll offend people by saying that something can't happen or isn't quite as they see it, that while we happily cancel people on a total whim, destroy people's lives because they don't believe the right religious orthodoxy, and it is a religion, woke is a religion. All it's missing is the robes and the incense. But none of this means, as the court was at pains to point out, that trans people should lose any protection. Trans people are humans. Trans people are people. Trans people should be respected. They deserve and should receive the same respect as every other member of society. They're a protected class. They're a group that's specifically looked after to make sure that they're not biased against and undermined secretly from behind. But for the 0.5% of the population who say that they are born in the wrong gender, we have to understand, have they actually changed gender? Does saying, I am a woman, make me a woman? Can a woman have a penis? Can saying that I'm a woman rewrite my genetic code to make that a fact? Does my healthcare have to reflect that? Should a nurse be suspended for calling me a man when I tell her, call me by my male name if you're more comfortable? And then hear, oh, she mentioned that I'm a man, I'm not, I'm a woman. Well, genetically, gender and sex are different. We're giving that to the woke crowd. You can feel different ways. Gender is a spectrum. I get that. Gender's a spectrum. Nobody's 100% male. No one's 100% female. But the fact that I'm male is written into my DNA. It's encoded into every cell. It is a matter of biological fact. And it has really important implications for my health treatment. I'm a male. I cannot grow a uterus, sorry, David Lammy. I am not a woman, sorry, Keir Starmer. I can't change the underlying building blocks of my body. I can feel different. I can dress different. I can believe different. And I should be respected for that. And I shouldn't be disadvantaged or prejudiced against if I feel that I'm not. But I can't change the reality of the universe. I've always felt a lot thinner than I am, but I can't change the fact that I'm not as slim as I'd like to think. I just avoid having photos. However much we talk about our truth, my truth, there is the truth. There are certain things which just are. They came into being at our creation. Before I was born, I was male. and I'll always be male, and there's nothing I can do about it. And it seems that the court agrees with me. Trans people should be treated with respect. They should in no way be belittled or lessened against others. But identifying as something doesn't change what you are. And in the legal sense, and in the biological sense, I am a man. And I must confess some relief. Call me jaded, I expected there to be a different outcome. I expected us all to be told that actually you can change your sex because that's what the modern religion says, and it's quite heretical to criticise it. You could see that creeping in the coverage. Sky and BBC, first thing they did after saying what was said was bring in a trans activist to say how shocking and awful it was. They didn't speak to the lesbians who aren't allowed to have lesbian groups because they, for some bigoted reason, don't want to date women with penises. I've always assumed lesbians were a no-go area. I never subscribed to the view that I could convert them with my manhood. And I never believed that they'd be interested in it, kind of by definition. But I've observed with quite shock how lesbians have been sidelined and excluded. They used to be part of Pride, they used to be part of the LGBTQ+. But really, over the last few years, it's become more of a BTG+. And that's because they held on to the belief that a woman doesn't have a penis. Perhaps this is one of the turning points on the path where we have an opportunity to remember that we should all be striving for equality, equality of opportunity, equality of life, equality of treatment, fairness, all those things we used to like. But we've thrown them out because equity is anti-equality. And this doctrine of the woke catechism has meant that women can't be allowed to define woman. But the Supreme Court's decision returns us to a world where, as most of us have always known, a woman is defined by the Oxford English Dictionary. It's an adult female human being.